Welcome to the dark corners of justice, where the crimes that shook the world meet the vengeance of the imprisoned. Today we delve into the twisted fates of 6 child predators who discovered that their heinous deeds didn't go unpunished behind bars. Brace yourself for a chilling tale of retribution from the depths of the prison system. Jared Fogle became a household name in the early 2000s as Subway's spokesperson, showcasing his dramatic 245-pound weight loss. Between 1998 and 1999, he starred in over 300 commercials and founded the Jared Foundation to combat childhood obesity. On July 7, 2015, Fogle's double life was exposed when the FBI and Indiana State Police raided his Zionsville, Indiana home, arresting him for distributing and receiving child pornography. Computers and other electronic devices were seized. On August 19, 2015, Fogle agreed to plead guilty to distributing and receiving child pornography and traveling to engage in illicit sexual conduct with a minor. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Fogle's dark side had surfaced earlier in 2007 when he told journalist Rochelle Herman Walron that he found middle school girls attractive. Despite his imprisonment, Fogle revealed that he spent his time watching NFL and college football, making prison life seem lenient. Justice seemed elusive until January 2016, when fellow inmate Stephen J. Nick attacked Fogle, punching him multiple times. Fogle suffered a bloody nose, scratches, and facial swelling. Nick received widespread support, including fan mail and praise from sex abuse victims and the public. Jared Fogle's transformation from a pop culture icon to a convicted predator is a cautionary tale of hidden depravity and the limits of legal justice, often supplemented by inmate retribution. Milton, or Copulus, an Australian Labor Party member, served in the New South Wales Parliament from 1999 to 2006 representing Swansea. His career ended in disgrace when he was arrested in December 2006 for child sex offenses, including supplying drugs to minors and sexual intercourse with a person under 16. These charges involved interactions with young boys, some in state care. In May 2008, Orkopoulos was found guilty of 7 counts of sexual intercourse with minors, supplying drugs to minors, and indecent assault. He was sentenced to 13 years and 8 months in prison with a non-parole period of 9 years. The case shocked the nation and garnered intense media attention. Orkopoulos was released on parole in late December 2019, but his legal troubles continued. On June 15, 2020, he was arrested again over further historical sex offense allegations. While awaiting sentencing for these new charges, Orkopoulos was attacked in June 2023 at Long Bay Prison. He suffered head, body, and leg injuries and was taken to a Sydney hospital for treatment. Milton Orkopoulos' fall from a respected politician to a convicted predator underscores the severity of his crimes and the enduring impact of his actions, both legally and personally. Richard Huckle. One of the worst cases of pedophilia in history, Richard Huckle was arrested in 2014 at Gatwick Airport as he returned home from Malaysia, where he committed most of his crimes. Dubbed the country's worst pedophile by Britain's media, Huckle posed as a photographer, English teacher, and philanthropist to win the trust of families in poor communities across Southeast Asia. He had confessed to abusing children on a blog he published on the dark web, an area of the internet not easily accessible to the general user. He forced the victims to pose with signs to advertise his business. In 2016, Richard Huckle was sentenced to serve 22 life sentences for the abuse of nearly 200 children. He wouldn't last long in prison. Only 3 years later, he was killed in cold blood by fellow inmate Tom Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald used an electric cable to strangle Huckle before forcefully inserting a pen into his brain and breaking his jaw. He also raped him using a kitchen utensil to insert into anus, and then using a pen with a blade attached inserted into his brain via the nose. Fitzgerald, who was discovered by prison staff standing over Huckle's body and surrounded by a pool of blood, later admitted that he had wanted to cook and eat parts of Huckle's body following the attack. David Osias Ramirez. David Osias Ramirez was a 56-year-old convicted child molester who was currently serving a life sentence for lewd and lascivious molestation. His victim was an 11-year-old girl. He was convicted in 2013. Ramirez was killed inside his Duval County jail cell on Tuesday, July 30th, 2019, after he was beaten and put headfirst into the cell's toilet. Ramirez was allegedly killed by a convicted murderer, 43-year-old Carl Dixon, after the pair began trading insults and then punching. Brett Peter Cowan, a convicted murderer and child rapist, became infamous on December 7th, 2003 on Australia's Sunshine Coast. That day, Cowan abducted 13-year-old Daniel Morcom, who was waiting for a bus to the Sunshine Plaza shopping center. Daniel planned to get a haircut and buy Christmas presents for his family, but the bus never arrived due to a breakdown. When a replacement bus finally came, it didn't stop for Daniel because the bus stop was unofficial. Witnesses reported seeing Daniel with two men, and when the next bus arrived 3 minutes later, Daniel and the men were gone. Cowan, who had a criminal history and was in the area, was questioned by police but denied involvement. Without forensic evidence, the case went cold. Years later, investigators used a covert police operation known as Mr. Big, which originated in Canada. Undercover officers posed as members of a criminal gang to gain Cowan's trust. Through a series of fictional crimes, they persuaded Cowan to confess to Daniel's abduction and murder. The confession was captured on video, and Cowan led officers to Daniel's remains. Cowan was arrested on August 13, 2011, and charged with Daniel's murder. On March 13, 2014, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 20 years. Life in prison for Cowan has been brutal. On August 5, 2016, while playing cards with other inmates, fellow inmate Adam Paul Davidson poured a bucket of boiling water on Cowan, leaving him in extreme pain and screaming as the hot water scalded his head and right side. The attack was part of a month-long plot to scar the fucking grub for life. Brett Peter Cowan's story is a chilling reminder of the evil that can lurk in society and the relentless pursuit of justice. In the summer of 2000, West Sussex, England was rocked by the disappearance of 8-year-old Sarah Payne. On July 1st, Sarah was playing with her siblings in a cornfield near her grandparents' home. Her father was renovating the house while her mother was at a nearby hospital with her younger brother. When Sarah didn't return, her family reported her missing, sparking a nationwide search. Tragically, on July 17th, Sarah's body was found in a field 15 miles from where she had last been seen. The news devastated the nation, but the pursuit of justice was just beginning. Investigators focused on Roy Whiting, a 42-year-old mechanic with a dark past, including a previous conviction for abducting and assaulting another young girl. Despite Whiting's denial, strong forensic evidence, including fibers linking his van to the crime scene, led to his arrest. In December 2001, Whiting was tried and found guilty of Sarah's abduction and murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 50 years, making him ineligible for parole until at least 2051. Whiting's life in prison has been brutal. On August 4, 2002, he was attacked by another inmate with a razor, leaving a 6-inch scar on his right cheek. In July 2011, Whiting was stabbed in the eye by another prisoner. Despite the severity, Whiting did not press charges and no police investigation followed. The violence continued on November 8, 2018, when 2 inmates attacked Whiting in his cell at HMP Wakefield, resulting in hospitalization and then his return to prison in stable condition.